good morning, good morning. We're live from Jackson State University.
Woo!
And we're excited to be here in Jackson, Mississippi. I am Dr. Janice Porter.
And I am Philip Porter, and we'd like to welcome you to Conversations with Visionaries.
Welcome.
And like I said, just welcome everyone. We're so excited to be in the great city of Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, with our special guest, Dr. Hilliard Lackey III. And you're going to be hearing more from him. Can't wait. So in this time, would you please go ahead and hit like and invite your friends to join us on Facebook Live?
All right. As we normally get started here, we always like to start our broadcast with a quote. And the quote for today says, "Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow." And that's by Anthony J. D'Angelo. And we got another quote here as well.
Yes, the other one I think fit really in with Dr. Lackey and his mission, his life mission. It comes from Nelson Mandela. It says, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And that's what this visionary, legendary person's been doing. He's been changing the world since I've known him, almost 50 years. And once you hear him speak today, you're going to see he's been doing the same thing. Through education, through his family vision, we're just excited to have him on as our guest.
All right, just a little bit for the ones who might be joining us for the first time, thank you. And also thank you for all the ones who's joined us for the past couple of years. But this is our first show on the road. And we're just blessed to have legendary Dr. Lackey with us on this morning. But if this is your first time with us, Conversation with Visionary show, our goal is to increase family ownership, which will lead to increasing family wealth. And family ownership, we just want to tell you quickly what that means. Ownership for us actually means it could be business ownership, it could be real estate ownership, it could be financial ownership, it could be educational ownership, which we'll be talking about today, it could be health and fitness ownership, and also spiritual ownership. So all of those ownerships we'll be talking about throughout our broadcast. When we're talking about a vision for yourself or for your family, we also want you to incorporate one of these ownership components in order to create a financial success for your family for generations. And with that said, we'll turn it over to Dr. Porter, who can introduce Dr. Lackey.
Yes, thank you. I'm honored. And I can say so much about Dr. Lackey. I met him about 50 years ago, my first week here on Jackson State University campus.
50 years?
Well, it's August of 1975. And he's been a blessing in my life ever since. And as we talk and share more, you'll hear more as we continue to talk. But he's an author. He's the author of the book, Martin and the Mule Train, Marks, Mississippi. And it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the origin of the 1968 Poor People's Campaign Mule Train. Here's the book here. And here's the thing about it. All the proceeds from this book go towards supporting Lackey scholars. And you want to hear more about what that means and where it's located as Dr. Lackey taught. So please just listen up. A few more things. He is Associate Professor of Urban Higher Education at Jackson State University.
All right.
He's the former president of Jackson State University National Alumni Association, Incorporated, 2004 to 2010. He's inducted into the Army ROTC Hall of Fame November 3rd, 2017.
Ooh.
He's married to the none other wonderful, precious lady, Mrs. Lillian Troop Lackey, for over 50 years. But you got to hear about his legacy with his family. He'll talk about that. So with no further ado, Dr. Lackey, welcome. Welcome to Conversation with Visionary. This is our 43rd episode, and we're honored to have you here. But tell us, who is Hilliard Lackey?
Hey, seems like you just told me who I am, who I ought to be.
Yeah.
And we left out a lot.
We left a lot. We did.
I always like to say that I'm a recovering cotton picker.
Oh.
I'm recovering. I'm not quite over having grown up to be a cotton picker.
Yes,
but
sir.
I want to congratulate the two of you and commend you and encourage you. for what you're doing. I think it's a marvelous undertaking, and I know that you're impacting the lives of people as you go through.
Thank you.
Even if it's just one, it'd be very marvelous. But in your case, I know that thousands have been exposed to what you're doing, and so that's a very wonderful thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Personally, I admire anybody who is trying to make the world a better place.
Yes, sir.
You see, I teach geography often, at least once a semester. and one of the things about it, there are forces in the universe that are building up, and then there are forces that are tearing down. It's the same with our bodies. That's why we have to refuel ourselves spiritually, physically, and so on. That's why we eat.
Yes, sir.
That's
Not just because it tastes good.
That's right.
That's why we breathe. We got to replace, because there are forces that are tearing down, and we don't replenish or replace.
That's right.
Then we collapse and we're gone.
That's right.
And so it's I just love people who are trying to uplift. And if I may,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to share my own philosophy.
Please do.
Yes.
I believe I've been created to know God,
All right, amen.
to serve God,
Yes.
Yes.
and to make the world a better place. That is to contribute to an ever advancing civilization. Let's go back to know God. You know God through reading His Word and communicating. You serve
That's
God by helping to do the things that He. In the Lord's Prayer we say, "Thy kingdom come."
Yes.
On
that's
earth,
right.
On earth
as it is in heaven.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
so
sir.
when we do things to help that kingdom come, then we were doing God's will.
Okay.
Amen.
Amen.
So we
I
let
like
that
it.
will be done.
Yes, sir.
So I'm into that. And then I come down to things that guide me is I want to do all the good I can for all the people I can for as long as I can.
Oh,
Let's try that again.
Yeah.
Do all the good I can.
All the good I can.
For all the people I
All the
can.
people I can.
For as long as I
For
can.
as long as I can, I like that. Can we
Yes,
adopt
sir.
that?
Certainly, because I think that's a good guideline.
That's right.
People may ask, well, when are you going to retire? When are you going to do this? Or when are you going to quit?
Right.
I want to do all the good I can for all the people I can for as long as I can.
And you
Okay.
are continuing impacting so many people. We
Well,
know that because we see it every day.
Well,
You share it.
Billy Graham and others, have really set the mark. And I never want to elevate myself too high on planet Earth. But on the other hand, I don't think there are other folks, excuse the expression,
Yes, sir.
who can work any harder than I can.
Yes.
Or be more
We know
focused
that.
than I can.
That's right.
Yes.
We know that.
And I may not have the greatest impact, but it's not because I wasn't trying.
Right,
So I
yes,
say,
yes.
that if Billy Graham says something, then I want to say, then I can say that same thing.
Sure.
Billy Graham said that the word retirement is not in the scriptures.
Okay.
Interesting.
Go ahead,
Interesting.
Well, so you want to do all the good
Yeah.
you can for the many people you can for the long as you
For
can.
long as
So
you
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
that Moses didn't even start his journey until he was 80.
Yes. Yeah.
That is correct.
Abraham is one of my heroes too, the heroes of scripture, heroes of faith. So blame Joel Osteen for talking about this stuff. Let's get back to some little mundane things.
But we want to find out a little bit more about you, where you grew up, how you was raised. This sort of give us that little story, just that little story I'm talking about.
I grew up in Quitman County, Mississippi, smack dab in the Mississippi Delta. The Mississippi Delta is prototypical Mississippi. This is where slaves were in abundance because cotton grows in abundance in the Mississippi Delta.
Okay.
So cotton was labor intensive. So slaves were needed for that labor. And so slaves were, widely used in the Mississippi Delta.
Okay.
After emancipation, whether it was 1863 or 1865, who's counting, then sharecropping came along. and sharecropping took the place of slavery, or was a successor to slavery
Okay.
on plantations. And I was raised on a cotton plantation in a
Really?
family of 11 in the Mississippi Delta in Quitman County, Mississippi, near the town of Marks.
Okay.
Wow.
Marks, Mississippi.
Wow.
Yes,
Mhm.
and I experienced something akin to slavery because sharecropping is slavery. It just
Yes.
changed its name.
Yes.
Okay.
So I grew up with that in mind. And when I went to church at the Friendship
Well, let me ask,
Missionary
what
Baptist
is sharecropping?
sharecropping is when the laborers, in our case, the black folks,
Mhm.
descendants of slaves,
Yes,
the
sir.
black folks,
Yes, sir.
went to work for white folks.
Mhm.
Okay.
And white folks owned the land, and black folks worked the land.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
And you shared in the profits, but you never got a chance to open the books to see what was
The-
the
yeah, that's
profits.
the
Oh,
profit.
see,
So you were told,
Okay.
you were told around Christmas time, about 2 days before Christmas, well, Brother Lackey, we had a bad year this year. Food, the fertilizer costs more, the seeds cost more, fuel costs more. So we came out in the hole. But because you're such a nice worker, a good worker, and you got this large family, I'm gonna give you $50 for Christmas. So
Wow.
we worked. My parents worked the whole year and got $50 for Christmas.
Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
That's sharecropping at its
Sharecropping.
meanest.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, if you can witness something like that growing up as a child, like I did,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then Emmett Till was only 22 miles away from my house.
Okay.
Okay.
The Emmett Till episode of
Yes.
1955.
Yes.
Well, some things start to work on your brain.
Right.
You said, we got to get away from here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Mhm.
So my family started to embody this idea that education is the key for mobility.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes,
That,
sir.
that
Key
upward
mobility.
mobility is
Okay.
dependent in our case on education.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes,
And,
sir.
and so true, false, good, bad, or indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
That is our foundation that we were able to build upon. And out of a family of 11, I'm number 4. You know, I got
Okay.
one brother and 2 sisters older than I.
Okay.
And I decided that I was going to college.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I wanted to know what other folks knew. I wanted to do what other folks did.
Okay.
And I wanted to broaden my understanding of why we were in existence and why there was a great disparity based on color.
Yes, sir.
We went to church and they said God is no respected person,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are all the same in God's eyes. I want to know from God.
Right.
I think I
Right.
was 9 years old when I first posed that question to God in the dark behind the church one Sunday night.
Wow.
I
Wow.
asked God, okay, what's up? Why am I born black, poor, and in Mississippi? One,
Wow.
2, 3.
Yes, sir.
Black, poor, and in Mississippi.
Wow.
Why can't I be rich and in New York City and living white?
Oh, wow.
A
Wow.
Jew even.
Wow. Okay.
Something.
Sure.
Well, it took God a while to answer me now.
Okay.
Okay.
But I think I might have been late 20s or 30s. Now 30. That I decided that I was glad to have been born black.
Okay.
Yes.
Glad to have been born and raised in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yes.
And that by being poor, it gave me some traction.
Yes, sir.
That here I was, it was up to me to be poor, in between wealth. It was up to me
Okay.
because I was born in America.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yes.
listen, I heard Eddie Robinson, the past former coach at Grambling, say it a lot of times when he spoke at Jackson State or elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He said, never forget, no matter how bad things may be or what they may seem, or your perspective about America, it's a great place to be.
Okay. Okay. In spite of where you came from, how you grew up, sharecropping, it's still a great place to be.
It's a
In
great
America.
place to be.
Okay.
And man, I started to internalize that, and it
Yes.
really played tricks on my heart because I'm saying, if it is to be, then it's up to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. If it is
yeah.
to be,
And
yes,
then
to be.
I developed my own perspective a little bit more
Okay.
that life and living life is like being a running back.
Oh, okay.
You know, a running back on a football team has 11 people out there trying to stop you. So you take the ball,
Yes, sir.
and you got the ball, and 11 people trying to stop you.
That's right.
Your
That's
job is to get to go and
Yes,
make
sir.
progress.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
If you got some help, some blockers. You may have a guard. You may have somebody like that or something.
Yes,
But-
yes.
But if soldiers, thank them very kind.
Right.
So here
Yes.
on this campus, I saw Walter Payton
Okay.
play for 4 years, and I watched him on TV for another 9.
Okay.
And what Walter did was to help me further understand the running back mentality
Okay.
as it would apply to life. I saw Walter Payton take it upon himself to be well prepared. That's
Yes,
number one.
that's number
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Well
Okay.
prepared. He prepared his body. And you know, his muscle was like iron, just like iron.
Wow.
There was no difference.
Okay.
So he made that.
Yeah.
Nature didn't give him iron.
Okay.
He pumped iron to make
And
iron.
that time.
And
Yeah.
then he worked
Wow.
on the rest of it. He studied stuff. He prepared himself. So I say the same about life with a running back mentality. I'm not discouraged when there are obstacles in front or there's obstructions, things working against me. I'm a protagonist and they're going to be the antagonists out there. There's 11 players like on the football. We're going to stop that running back.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
no, my job
That's right.
is to get by you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
I need to score a touchdown. I need to at least make yardage, make progress.
Sure.
Right.
So that's my attitude about life, and I try to promote it. You don't understand. All students always think the world is coming to an end
Yeah.
almost. I got such a weight of the world on my shoulders.
Yes, sir.
What's wrong? My car won't start.
That's right. That's right.
The water off in my apartment. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And want to blame others for that, right?
Well, I feel sorry for themselves, and that's a natural occurrence.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
So, I teach, I'm going to get back to running back in a moment, but I like to tell anybody who will listen
Mm-hmm.
that when humans are faced with anything negative, they tend to either do one or two things. One is to be in shock and disbelief. Oh, no, this couldn't be.
Okay. That's right.
That's
right.
Then they say, that's shock. Whoa. Then they go to like, why me?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That's self-pity. Why me? Look at them. They just as happy and healthy. And look at me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
But if you ever can get to coping is saying, yes, it is. Yes, I was born on a plantation. Yes, I was a sharecropper.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, my school was in the country. Yes, I had to walk to school, rain, shine, sleet, or snow. Yes. And yes, my mom only finished the 6th grade, and my daddy died when I was 5. But it's up to me now
It's up to me.
to cope.
Oh.
Yes, it is. No matter what has occurred to a person. And then my preacher, when I was growing up,
Okay.
he told me such a nice thing. He said, God is a just God, that he creates problems and solutions always at the same time. But we place obstacles in the middle of that.
Okay.
It could be self-pity. It could be fear.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Self-doubt.
That's right.
Yes.
In there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, God said, I'm a just God, so here's your problem, there's your solution.
Wow.
Okay, Moses, there you go. You're leading the children of Israel out of Egypt. There's the Red Sea. Now, okay, there's your challenge. Now,
That's right.
Moses, trust me. Lean
Yes,
not
sir.
to your own understanding.
Yeah.
Trust me. So that's why we have to step out there and believe the answer. If we believe God is just, then we know there's an answer.
Okay.
All we have to do is trust Him.
Trust him.
So we got songs like that, like What a Friend We Have in Jesus.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
All our pains and grief
to bear.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's
Yes.
right.
Oh, what a privilege it is to carry everything to God in prayer.
Prayer.
Ain't
That's
that
right.
something?
That's
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we have these things all because we do not carry
That's
everything
right.
to God in
Yeah.
prayer. That's a wonderful song
It is.
that I had the privilege of listening to in my head over and over when I became a park ranger. I was traveling by bus from Jackson State University to Carlsbad Caverns National Park for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to Carlsbad, New Mexico, I had $1. Out of
1 quarter, 25 cents.
25 cents.
Is
I
that
was
right?
1,000 miles from the nearest person I'd ever seen in my life.
Wow.
But I was saying, what a friend we have in
Is
Jesus.
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
I didn't know what to do with that 25 cents, so I went to the jukebox at the bus station and put it in there. I said, I can't buy anything. I played Mongo Santa Maria, Watermelon Man.
Oh.
I played Elvis something.
Okay. Go on.
And I said, okay, God, it's just me and you now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right.
My friend. So I needed to go another 28 miles to get to the Carlsbad Caverns National Park from the little town that the bus. And so that bus, I asked around, they said, oh, a bus comes here to take the rangers out to the caverns and others and workers. I said, oh, wonderful. So I eased up to the bus driver and said, Mr. Bus Driver, I'm a new park ranger, black, by the way.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I need to get to the caverns, but I won't get paid for another 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And so I need to go on credit.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what he said? Look at God. Oh, rangers ride free.
Is that right?
Amen.
Is that right?
Well, it goes on and on. I went to the cafeteria. I said, I want to eat for a couple of weeks till I get paid. And then the owner, the manager said, oh, no, you don't want to eat the same menu every day. Well, we ought to have chicken fried steak. You need to go be able to eat elsewhere, get some groceries or something.
Mm-hmm.
How much money do you need? I said, $100 an hour, you need 300.
Oh.
He helped me get 300.
Yes, yes.
There are things like that that I've
Yes,
experienced over the
yes, sir.
years
Okay.
that reinforces my faith,
Mm-hmm.
that lean not to my own understanding. And I say to anybody who will listen that each of us has those moments, those aha moments
That's
that we
right.
can
Yes,
recount.
Yes,
And
sir.
I've heard Joel Osteen preach about them, how the Jews carried a staff and put dates and symbols on it to recount those aha moments, those moments where God intervened in their personal lives
That's right.
to make things better.
Yes,
And
yes.
so sometimes we need to remember how we got over it.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
But we do.
Amen.
That's right.
If we
We
can
do.
reflect upon how we got over it, then it gives us buoyancy
Yes.
for the present and the future.
That's right. That's right. And
And
our
so-
children need to know that as well. Right? That's my mom told us the same thing. Always write what God has done for you. Write that down. But it's not only for you, it's for the next generation as well.
Certainly,
Yes.
because that's exactly what the Old Testament is all about, the stories of how God intervened
That's
in
right.
people's lives.
That's right.
That's right.
And
Yes,
so
sir.
we,
Yes, sir.
so we read it and we call it scripture,
Mm-hmm.
but we also could read and call it family history.
Yes,
That's right.
yes, yes.
That's right.
That's how we
Yes,
got
good
over.
point.
So my kids always gonna know that I was picking cotton,
Right,
and
that's
chopping
right.
cotton,
Yes.
and that I prayed,
Yes.
and that I got over.
Yes.
Okay.
And then these little things that I share now, I put it in several books. And which reminds me, I do have this book. That is true, but I have 11 books.
Yes.
Wow.
No,
Is that right?
Yes.
No, but I don't want the books to get in the way of life.
We want people to know that,
I
though.
want people to know that.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, if they don't, I don't want the books to get in the way of life. I want to be like Zora Neale Hurston.
Yes.
I want the books to give me some degree of immortality after I'm gone.
Yes, sir.
Or
Yes,
if
sir.
I am not as active sometime in the future as I am now,
Yes.
then I wanted the books to fill in some voids.
Okay.
Great
If I want the
point.
book to
Good
get in
point.
my way.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Good point.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Read my books after I'm gone. Good.
Listen to the words of wisdom. Listen to the words of wisdom.
But while you got me, I got me. In a way, back to this running back mentality. It is.
Yes.
Once you decide, okay, there's 11 people against me, and I got the ball, and I'm a running back, then you want to get as much help as you can get. True enough, but you better try to depend on yourself as much as you can.
As much as-
Okay.
Give it all you got. Give it
Yes,
all
sir.
you got. Give it all you got.
It's been lesson for us all.
And so, whether you are in school, out of school, on the job, or retired, it's all give it all you got.
Give it all you got.
And I don't think any human being, that's me, should ever quit and say, I'm through.
Okay.
Right.
I'm
Right.
through.
Yes.
I'm retired. I'm good. I'm just gonna do nothing. That's asinine. No, I don't spell asinine the way other folks do. You know,
Okay.
A-S-I-N-I-N-E. I put 2 S's in there. So that's asinine. That's not a bad word.
Right.
But it is. I think you should give it all you got until your breath. You know, the Apostle Paul did that. Philippians 1:21. You know, I don't know too much, but
But it's in the Word of God. Yeah. What did he say?
it says to die, to live is Christ and to die is gain.
Gain.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
So,
yes,
so
yes.
that's. I think that each of us should try to help make the world be a better place. And
That's right.
personally, I said it earlier. I said it twice. Remember, I want to do all the good I can for as many people as I can for as long as I can, whether that's working, volunteering, or what. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. You can give it a name if you like. I think last semester here at Jackson State, I taught 6 classes. I got paid for 2.
Wow.
I think that was illegal. Well, who cares?
But you were helping so many.
No, but
Boy,
that's
you're
what I
right.
want to do.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to do all I can. I
Yes, sir.
operate by my philosophy
Yes,
to do
sir.
all the good I can. For as many, as long as the students say, "Okay, I have learned," and
Yes.
all faculty members have to have something we call a SIRS, S-I-R-S. That's all caps, so it's an acronym meaning something like Student Instructional Reviews of Statistic or something.
Okay.
But it means that the faculty has been evaluated.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Do you come to class on time, and you declare, do you hand out the information, and you
Yes,
follow
sir.
all these steps? There's about 18 things. And so, to my understanding, which
Yes.
I could be wrong, and I just hope I'm not wrong, that I'm the highest rated faculty member on the campus. If I'm wrong, don't tell me. As long as I'm in the running.
Well, I can speak. I know myself and many Jacksonians are listening to us today. We just thank you because we rate you very highly. You played a huge positive part of our lives when we were here on campus and afterwards. I mean, I actually grew up here on campus. I had not been on a college campus until I came on Jackson State campus. And I really had to do a lot of soul searching to learn who I was and to be proud of who I was and where I came from and to be proud and love my parents. And you helped me to do that. And so I really appreciate it. And I learned how the importance of giving back and helping others to reach back because we don't make it by ourselves. And you just never gave up on me and all of us. And we just want to say thank you. I know Fran and Thickpen and Dorothy and Shirley V all are listening now. And Brendan Ville, you know, there's so many I can't even name. Hello, y'all. We're just so grateful. So it's just a small thing we can do. And as you keep saying, Philip and I thought we had retired from the corporate world and from 30 years of education. But God said, no, our passion is really families and helping families all we can, however we can. And so we just love doing it. And then we have this thing about family vision, importance of family vision, because we learn from, in the book of Proverbs that, and I'm going to paraphrase, you know, without a vision, the people perish. So we have to be without a vision, the family perish also. And we were told also in the Bible to write the vision and make it plain. so you can have a guide to guide you and to guide your family, so you can value. And I learned that we also had to use, education was also used to move us forward, to have a better life for myself and for my family than what I came from. But go ahead. Yes,
No,
sir.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, and proud of your colleagues and your
grateful to God.
kindred. Yes, and then you married a good man who can help
Thank
you
God.
do that same.
Yes, sir.
But
Yeah,
life
yeah.
becomes such a pleasure when you put your will with God's will. Look how that fit.
That's
Amen.
right. That's right.
But when you trying to do something else,
Yes.
it's a misfit,
Yes.
and you're miserable.
Yes.
But
But you know,
that good
yeah.
fit is when you can make it fit.
Yes.
That's right.
And it just been, since I've been retired, this is the first full year I've been retired. But it's been since that time I've been able to spend more time focusing on our vision, more time with God, and more time, I really have been praying that prayer, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So it's interesting you will bring that up. That's been my guidance this particular year for sure, because God has so much more for us yet to do. He's not through with us yet. And so long as we got breath in our bodies. Yes, sir.
Today is the first day of the school year at Jackson State University.
Okay.
The
Yes.
president of Jackson State, Dr. William B. Bynum Jr.,
Yes, yes.
a self-avowed Christian.
Yes. Right.
Yes. He said today, just prior to this program, I just left the faculty staff seminar. I slipped out. I'm AWOL. He said that each of us has something to do. God has an assignment for us.
Okay.
That if we don't do it, it won't get done.
Okay, yes.
I know about another human. God says, he crawl out to the rocks.
Right,
And
that's
I think
right.
he made a donkey and some other do something. But
Yes, yes.
so each of us has something to do.
That's right.
And then here comes Joel Osteen.
Okay.
Said, God will not give you an assignment without also giving you the resources.
That's right.
You may not see the resources, Moses. Just
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah.
Straighten out, extend your rod and smoke the water. Or smoke the rock and get the water from it, and so on and so on. Because if we depend on our own finite understanding, we never would get anywhere.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's like
right.
that quarter I had
That's
going to
right.
New Mexico. I didn't tell you I came to Jackson State with $2.
Wow. Wow.
I came here the day Barack Obama was born.
Wow.
August 4th,
August
1961, to take the ACT.
Whoa. Yes, sir.
And I saw these black men wearing neckties on Saturdays. We had a 5.5 day week.
Okay.
And they weren't preachers and there wasn't no funeral.
Wow.
And I'm
Right.
saying, wait a minute. I'm back there picking cotton, and I'm used to cotton pickers and second class citizenship. And here these guys, black like me, walking around with neckties on a Saturday. So I'd be glad to wear a necktie almost every day.
Yes.
Wow.
Ever since.
Sure.
I
Yes,
think that sometimes
yes,
there's a
yes.
role to play. And even if you just play a role as a role model, you can continue to impact the lives of others. That's a very wonderful thing to do, because I think it was Whitney Houston or Tina Turner, somebody said everybody's searching for a hero, or Ollie. Well, that people need somebody to look up to.
That's right. That's right.
And so I always consider what the preacher told me again when I was about 10, 11. He said, God gave us Christ as he didn't use this word, I'm going to paraphrase, the ultimate role model. If you want to be, and that to be a Christian, you are become Christ-like to the
That's
best of
right.
your ability.
That's right.
That's
Yes,
right.
And so
that's
then
right.
each Christian ought to be like the salt that's in the food.
That's
And he
right.
said that too in the
Yes,
Bible, in the
yeah.
scriptures. So you ought to make a difference wherever you are,
Yes.
forever.
Forever.
Yes, as long as, yes, even in death, you ought to still make a difference.
Yes.
That's right.
But you ought to, just memories of yourself. At your funeral, you ought to make a difference. You ought to, when they read your obituary, oh my God, such a caring person, such a giving person,
Sure.
Yes,
such
sir.
Christ-like
Yes,
virtues,
yes.
did all of this to help folks and make the world a better place. and when they think of you 10, 20, 100 years later, oh yeah, that person cared, that person shared. So I think each of us ought to be mindful that if we say we are God-fearing, God-believing, then we ought to have some God-like attributes that we want to exhibit.
Yes, sir.
And it's not about our cars, our clothing, our
That's
lifestyle.
That's right.
So much as it is, what service? Dr. King said that each of us can serve. If you want to be great, you want to be first, that's the drum major instinct.
That's
Then
right.
we ought to be in service.
That's right.
We can do that now.
Yes.
And my cousin drove over to my house yesterday and said, "Cuz, here's some okra." I said, "What in the world am I doing with it?" But he was trying to serve. He
Yes.
was growing okra in his backyard.
Okay.
He went out there and cut it. He got a bag full and brought it over to my house. I'm saying, "Oh, wow. Now we working."
Sure.
And so little things, big things. Open the door for somebody, stand back and let
Yes,
somebody
sir.
go first to the cash register, the grocery store.
Yes, sir.
Just little things. They'll say hello to the cashier.
Yes.
Every cashier who looks to be under 30 says, "You still in school?"
That's right.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, by school, so we're in the 21st century, getting ready for the 22nd century coming up. What role do you see education playing in our young people's lives?
Okay. Here's what I have learned from readings from philosophers and religionists,
Yes, sir.
that we consider the mind of man, of people, humans, as a M-I-N-E, a mind, like a gold mine.
Yes.
So the mind is like a mine, gold mine. But you can't release what's in it without education.
Okay.
That's right.
So it's just there. So we may have a cure for cancer locked up in there.
Yes, sir.
We may have a cure or impact poverty locked up in there. So if education can help it to roll out and make the world a better place and help solve some of the problems of the world, when without education, it ain't gonna work.
Wow.
And I'm not saying you have to have a doctoral degree. I'm
Right.
not saying that. Because Bill Gates went to Harvard
That's right.
and stayed until he understood what he needed to know. Then he
That's
left.
right. Then he left. That's right.
And
Yes.
some claim he's the richest man on the planet right now.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
he's doing so much good for so many folks because
That's right. That's right.
he got what he needed, then left. Oh, I got what I need.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
And Harvard called him back. Why don't you take a degree? Well, what about a doctorate? Okay. so you can go. You can learn, and in the military, for example, they got short-term courses. You can learn anything. One of my sons worked for the military, so he just takes these 2 weeks or weekend courses all the time. So he's an HVAC man, and he can do this, and he got about 10 or 12 type of specialties, MOSs they call them.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
it's the same with the rest of us. We can learn all the time. There's short-term courses, and we can help ourselves be more impactful when it
Yes.
comes to doing things.
That's
Yes, yes.
And it helps the world be a better place. The children, you need to have
Yes.
basic skills. And right now, if you're a high school dropout, unless lightning struck you or you hit the lottery, you need to go to school.
That's right.
Okay. Be planned. That's right.
Yeah, go to school and get that basic.
Yes, sir.
Anybody who doesn't finish high school need a whipping.
No,
you need a
Yes, sir.
whipping.
That's
You saying that
exactly
And I ain't ashamed to say it. I'll take my belt off. You need to finish high school.
All right, y'all. I
Then
hope
if-
everybody hears that.
Then
Yes,
if possible, do
yes.
something after high school.
That's
Short-term courses,
Yes.
long-term courses, college. Yeah. So my 4 kids, their thing was, you going to school until that somebody come get you out of the classroom and give you a job or give you an opportunity to make your own way.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Don't
Yes,
leave
sir.
there on your own. Well, I think I'll leave. No, don't leave there looking. let them come get you. Otherwise, you didn't stay long enough.
Yeah.
Jackson State hired me before I could graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Dr. John A. Peoples was vice president at the time, and he came to me and said, you know, I'll become president in a little while, a couple of months probably, and I'd like for you to be on my team. I said, I'm going off to graduate school. Better.
Yeah,
You're going to have a job when you come out of graduate school.
Yeah.
Look me up. I got you because I want you on my team.
Wow.
See,
Wow.
Powerful.
It is, and
Yes,
I'm so
powerful.
thankful that he could see in me the son of a sharecropper, a dirt farmer,
That's right.
Yes, sir.
near a
Wow.
slave, and here he looked at me and said, I want you on my team when I take
Wow.
over this,
Yes.
this
Wow.
institution.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Wow.
And so
Yes.
that had a great impact on me that I told my own children, you staying there till somebody come get you.
So that's a good thing parents should be saying to their kids.
Yes, saying
You know,
school.
And
Yes.
yes, and another thing is find a way to go to school free.
Oh, you probably
Look.
heard that.
Good point.
Look,
Good point.
when my children lived
Yeah.
like this, I was
Yeah.
rocking them. And I said, "You going to school free, so you better think of something.
Right. That's right. Speaking into
You going to college, but you're going to
Say
think of
it.
something. You're going to either
Wow.
make A's and maybe a B or two,
Yes.
or you going to be able to sing, play an instrument, or run, shoot a basketball, paint pictures. You got to do something to
Something.
go to school free.
Yes.
Okay.
There's
Yes.
so
Okay.
many
So
possibilities.
So
there
many.
ain't no need for
Wow.
you not to, out of 1,000
That's right.
ways to go to school free, you
Yes.
ought to find one.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
That's a really good point.
And I said, okay, if you go to school free, I'll buy you a car.
Well, okay.
Huge incentive.
Well, it's
Huge
better,
Well,
incentive.
if I got
Yeah.
to pay, you got to walk.
That's
well, it's better
Yeah.
than the student loan debt that the people are racking up these days. Because
You can go to
because the
school
cost
free.
of school is so expensive.
School is expensive. Books cost $200 a piece.
Wow.
You got to have 5 books in the fall or 6, and then in the spring you got to have another 5 or 6. After a while, it's some real money. You start trying
Yeah.
five times 2. That's $1,000 to book.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Just for the book.
One book.
Yes.
I mean, just one set of books.
Yeah.
Well, if the children could go to school free, parents, help your children go to school
Yes,
free.
parents.
Raise them up to go to school free.
Yes.
Help
Wow.
them figure out some way.
Yes. Yes.
If there are 1,000 ways, I'm just guessing, 1,000 ways to go to school free, find one.
That's
or
right.
2 or 3.
So get all A's in school, students. All A's. You get a scholarship. Get a 36 on the ACT. You can do it. Scholarships.
But if they
Find a
can't
way.
do that, they ought to outrun somebody.
Yeah, there you go. That's athletic. You can be athletic. That's exactly right.
Play a
That's
piano, do
There's so
something.
many. That's right. Music.
Paint a
So
picture.
many opportunities. So many
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Like I said, but you were saying that while they was little, not wait till
Bring
they
them
get
up that way.
17.
That's right.
Right.
Oh,
Start
child,
planning from the
you-
womb.
You got to do it. Someone asking, okay, and they on the phone or something, or playing games. So how is that going to help
How
you go
they-
to college free?
That's right.
I'm not. I'm saying it can't, but you tell me how they're going to help you go to college free. Then you
Okay.
keep it up.
See,
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Wow.
Paul, you going to college and Dad ain't paying nothing.
Everybody hear that? Hear that? That's some good advice. But you have to start early.
Certainly. That's the way to get it done.
Yes, yes,
You
yes,
have to
yes.
start early.
So I want to say as you go, Philip, I really do. I thank God for my parents and Philip parents. My parents, Letha William and Evelyn McGee William, and then Philip parents, Reverend Dr. James Porter and Mother Barbara Jean Lambert Porter. They really believed in it was God first, it was family and education, and that's what they pushed. And Philip parents finished high school, got college degrees. My parents did not finish high school, but they knew the value of education. And they taught from when I was little all the way up. My dad said he wanted to see the report cards. He didn't want to say anything but A's and B's, and he didn't even like C's, which I thought when I think back on it, I appreciate it now, but I didn't appreciate it then. But it was school, 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 school. But make time for God, family, and education. That's what they value. We do appreciate that. And then when I came to Jackson State, Dr. Lackey would listen to me and talk to me and talked about education, education, education. We had lots of walks like that. Is that Ross Barnett Reservoir, walking and talking and thinking, walking, talking, and thinking. And then I remember being offered a fellowship to get my master's in science. at Jackson State after I got my undergrad degree. And I was struggling with that decision. Should I, not should I? And it was fellowship, mean they're paying for it. So Dr. Lackey posed a question to me. He said, think about this. Now, if you go into life, you can get debt, get married, probably have a family, get bills. Or you can go to school and get your master's, have more education, and all those things will still happen later, but you happen in the right order. You'll be so much further along. So now that is what I chose to do, to accept that fellowship, and I was so blessed for doing that. So parents, students, education. Go to school free. Go to school, get that high school diploma. What Dr. Lackey is saying is that I think I'm getting a paraphrase. Kids who tend to attend school. Wait, if you go to class, you'll pass. Kids who tend to go to class pass. That right? They got T-shirts. Say it.
Well, you're close.
I'm close.
Students who attend class tend to pass.
Yes.
Life has no guarantees now.
Yes.
But students who attend class tend to pass. Mm-hmm. We call that there was a correlation, you know, when in this big time research at a graduate level, we said a correlation.
Yes, correlation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those who attend class tend to pass, especially out of school where the teachers are caring.
Yes.
I know it may seem again backwards and uncalled for, but there are schools who may not care for you. I have gone to a couple like that where they didn't care whether I live or die. Here at Jackson State, they cared, and we still do.
Yes.
We glorify helping a student to pass and to graduate. Speaking of which, there are about 2 reasons people go to class.
All right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but that's 2.
2, 3. What are they? 2.
One is to pass.
Yes.
Or to make a grade. You go to a class or go to school just to make a grade, which is a good thing, but it's not all inclusive. Or you can do the Bill Gates perspective. I'm going to gain knowledge.
Okay.
So you go to get knowledge and you go to make a grade.
Yes.
And they may not be the same thing. My oldest son took swimming at a certain institution. And there was no water in the pool for a whole semester. So he said, you know, Dad, if I depended on this class for swimming, I'd probably drown. But I got an A. But case in point, you can't blame the school. They had to, they had to read. This is how you swim. This is how you swim.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But there was no implementation.
No implementation. Yes.
Because there was no water in the pool because of malfunction. But so it makes the point, or punctuate the point, that you need to know and you need to pass. If you know, chances are you will pass. So the first order of business is to know. See, grades open up the door for you because if you look at your academic transcript and it's got A's and B's on it,
that's right.
We say you probably know.
That's right.
Then you get the job or the position or the entree, the door opens, and then you got to prove that you know.
That's right.
Okay. That's
right. Yes.
But on the other hand, you can know and not have those grades, and then the door won't be open for you.
Sure, that's right.
So a lot of times people come to this campus, recruiters come to this campus from Fortune 500 companies.
Yes.
And they put up a sign. Interviewing only 3.0s or 2.75 and above. So you may know, but you can't even get in the door.
Yes.
Because your grades aren't good enough to get the interview.
Sure.
And so it happens, and it does happen. The same is about going to graduate school. If you don't have the grades, you may know, but you can't get in.
That's right. The grades. That's right.
So grades are important, but then knowing too, because you can have A or B average or something like that. Like my son had this A in swimming.
Okay.
He's a great swimmer. But suppose you had that A in swimming and you had ever been in the pool.
Right.
I have the A on how to fly airplane.
But never.
Never flown. Then you get behind the wheel or whatever that is, and so those are the 2 good things to remember about school. You go there to know and to make a grade. And
Yes.
ought to, according to the Bill Gates theory, if you're going to be an entrepreneur or be a business person, then knowledge is more important than a grade. Bill Gates, nobody ever asked him, what kind of grades did you make at Harvard?
That's right. That's right.
He went there to know.
That's right.
Yes,
Well, he left there
yes.
because he knew
Because
what
he
he
knew.
needed to know. And so I encourage that to happen. By the way, we also encourage all persons to do as you two, to give back, to give service.
Okay.
Again, we mentioned that earlier about Dr. Martin Luther King and all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That anybody can serve. But I want to share what we have up at Marks, Mississippi, at Palmer High School, where I graduated.
Yes.
Thank you, yes.
A
please.
long time ago. We have a group of students called Lackey Scholars,
Yes.
and they wear shirts. On the right sleeve, they have academic excellence, and on the left sleeve, they have community service.
All right.
That they are committed to being the best they can be, and they're going to try really hard at all times to be an ideal student.
Yes.
So, which brings about academic excellence.
Yes,
But
sir.
then when they leave the classroom or in the classroom, apart from scholarly
Yes.
endeavors, they're also going to do or perform community service
Okay.
to make their own household better, the family
Yes.
better,
Yes.
community better,
Oh, excellent.
and the
Excellent.
neighborhood and all. And so that's a wonderful thing. We have 12 in each grade. It's a smallish school compared to these big-time Minnesota schools. With an enrollment of 400. They got
Yes, sir.
about 109th graders, 110th, and 111, 112.
Okay.
They're about
Okay.
a
Yes,
little
sir.
attrition. There's not very much attrition at that school. They're at 93% right now of
Okay.
graduation rate from
Okay.
9 through 12.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, we were in the
That's
top
great.
15 in the
Excellent.
state of Mississippi.
Whoa.
But
That's
one of the
wonderful.
reasons for that is the Lackey Scholar.
Yes.
I know. I mean, if you
Lackey
don't
Scholar.
pat yourself on the back and try not to get too much credit, it'll be okay. That's one of my shortcomings. I'm working on it. These Lackey Scholars tutor middle school and elementary school students.
Oh,
That's
wow,
one of their
really?
commitments, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
So, in so doing, they help the school to be better, and everybody
Yes.
got some role model because they're ideal students. They're gonna go to class, handle themselves right, dress
Yes.
appropriately, talk appropriately.
Yes, sir.
If they get caught with some misgivings, they get, they have to come in and speak to one of the advisors. The English teachers in high school, four of them are their advisors. And
Yes,
so
sir.
when they hear about it, some of those wannabes would have been, hey, he said something loud down the hall. Boy, come here, son. What was up? What was up with that?
Yes.
If he repented, then he can remain a Lackey Scholar.
Ah.
If he gonna be argumentative and there was witnesses say he did it, he got to go.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay.
You can be repentant because nobody's perfect.
That's right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Uh-huh.
That's
So, when we fall down, we get
Get
up.
up. That's right.
You
Yes,
got
sir.
to get up now. You can't get down there and tell me, I can't, and the reason I'm down is because, no, you got to get up.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And get back in the fight.
That's right.
Great.
And back to that running back for the third time. That's what Walter Payton used to do. If Walter Payton had the ball and was running with it, and they tackled him and brought him down short of a touchdown, when the pile unfolded and everybody got up, Walter would go to the goal line and touch it. I don't know what he was saying, but I was thinking he must have been saying, I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Yes, sir.
I'll be
Yes,
right
sir.
back.
Yes.
But if he was inside the 20-yard line, he would go touch the
Touch it.
goal line, and
Oh.
everybody would say, oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
got this, because Walter done touched it. I'll be right back.
Well, that's a good thing for us to all keep in mind.
Yeah, then when we
Yes.
fall down, I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.
That's right.
I'll be
Right
right back.
back.
I'll be right
That's a
back.
Forrest
Pretty good
Gump. So, oftentimes, any of us can make a mistake
That's right.
and
Yes.
believe that I can't because I tried and I failed.
Yeah.
I tried and I failed.
Mhm.
But in sales, it is said that 90% of all sales, like car salesmen and insurance, especially insurance,
Mhm.
the name is are made after the 7th try.
That's right. That's right.
That you got,
try.
yeah, the 7th try.
That's right.
Yes.
If you want to sell some insurance, you better have 10 people out there, and you won't try 7 of them. They're gonna take at least 7
At
of them
least
before
7.
you get to
You'll get to
that
the
one sale.
That's right.
Now,
That's
if you
right.
quit after that first one,
That's right.
second, third, fourth,
Yeah.
and so
Yes.
And life is like
being
that.
fearful of failure is a crippling state of mind.
Yes.
That's why Peter Stewart was the minority coordinator for the University of Mississippi Medical Center, the first one they had.
Okay.
He's a graduate of Jackson State, and he put him over minorities out there at UMC.
Okay.
He said, I would rather have an athlete, a former athlete, if the 2 students were even applicants for the medical school. He said, I'd take that athlete every time.
Wow.
Because the athlete has learned to fail
Ah, okay.
and then come back.
Mhm.
Baseball players do it all the time. You know, if you can do 3 out of 10 times, then you're a multi-million dollar.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yes. Yes.
3 out of 10 times you was successful hitting the ball and getting on base and so on. 3 out of 10, you're gonna fail 7 out of every 10 times
That's
in
right.
baseball.
That's right. Yeah. What
If you're
people-
good, the very best.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
because that's just a normal part of baseball. And normal part of life is the failure, but like you said, it's what you do after that. It's what you do after that is the key.
Yes. So we need to encourage our children, encourage ourselves first,
Yes.
because they'll watch us and they'll
Yes.
pick up on us. We are not going to allow a failure or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 to stop us. We're
That's
going to
right.
keep trying.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Lackey, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
And
it
we
has.
know your
It has.
schedule, very busy schedule, so we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and making our first road trip with Conversation with Visionaries a great success.
Yes.
Especially being, we are honored and just blessed to have you a part of the program. And you know, if you can kind of share with our audience some last words of wisdom that you can that you can share with all of us, that we can just glean from you, like I say, just getting those nuggets from you.
Well, each of us has a purpose. The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren and so others. That book by Rick. We need to search for our purpose. When we have a purpose-driven life, then it doesn't matter what we have. We're gonna do the Arthur Ashe thing. So work with me with that one. Start where you are, use what you have,
Okay.
and do what you can.
Yes.
See, your purpose won't change. If I had Oprah's money, no, baby, you got a dime.
Yes.
That's right.
Start where you are. Use that dime.
Yes.
Use that dime and do what you can.
Okay.
I remember one year for Father's Day, my wife cleaned out my clothes closet at the house and then rearranged it for me. And I said, "Wow, that's better than a necktie."
Yes, sir.
So I say again, use that Arthur Ashe adage: start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can whenever you're faced with things. But it ought to be built around your purpose. Find
That's right.
your purpose,
That's right.
and life would unfold so beautifully towards you and for you. As long as you're fumbling, trying to figure out, why am I here? Why am I living? Why was I born? And
Yes.
why am I working? And why am I a wife? Why am I a husband, a father, and
Sure.
a mother? Why? Don't do that. If you figure out your purpose,
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
figure out somebody's purpose and apply it to yourself. And remember, my purpose is to know God, to serve God, and make the world a better place. And I'll do all the good I can for all the people I can for as long as I can.
All right.
God bless you.
All right.
Thank you, thank you. This has been our 43rd episode of Conversation with Visionaries. On the road live at Jackson State University, our guest,
Yes.
Dr. Hilliard Lackey III.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, audience.
Thank
All
you.
right, and thank you
Y'all
everybody
be
for joining
blessed.
us.